those boos, okay, and they breed them back in. They take a boo Netherland dwarf and they breed it back into one of the carriers. Voila, eyeliner bunny.
Huzzah. Okay.
So they're going to take a boo and they're going to breed it to a carrier, and you get half the litter ends up boo and half the litter ends up carrier. And that's how they breed the Netherland dwarves back in for the shape on the dwarf photo.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Lines.
So if your conformation gets off on your dwarf photos and you want them to clean up their shape a little bit, you breed a boo back in, and then you go 5 generations out, and voila, you've corrected your shape, and you're back to your eyeliner bunnies.
Mm-hmm.
But with a carrier and a carrier, you're going to end up with 50% Vienna carrier, 25% non-Vienna. Now, what they aren't saying in that non-Vienna in a Netherland dwarf is that you end up with brokens. Because they carry the EN. All Netherland dwarves carry the EN. And so the non-Viennas always show up as brokens. And so I had my own Oreo. I had, Mudslide, and all these brokens that were dwarf photos that were, and then I would breed them back into the line to keep that black eyeline crisp. So, you know, I knew where they come from, a Vienna carrier. I bred a non-Vienna, okay, so where it's saying here, a non-Vienna to a Vienna carrier, you breed that back, that's 50% Vienna carrier and 50% non-Vienna. So you would still end up with eyeliner bunnies if you took those brokens and bred them back into the line. Mm-hmm. It just depended on their conformation. So if they had great conformation, you could breed them back into the line and then go forward. But for most people, they don't want to keep those brokens. And so they try to pass them off either as a broken Netherland or go on from there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how dwarf photos work with the Vienna gene. So you can end up with broken blacks because dwarf photos are black based because they always have the black eyeliner.
Oh, that's exciting.
You can end up with broken blacks. You can end up with eyeliner bunnies, standard dwarf photos. You can always tell when somebody has bred one of these brokens back in because a lot of times the eye line around their eyes is messy. You know, it's fuzzy and kind of blown out and not as crisp. So that also tells you how it's been bred. So you can see the eye line and see how it's been bred.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we'd be on the Netherland dwarf table and there would be, you know, a Netherland whose face just wasn't quite as round as it should have been, you know, a blue-eyed white, and you know that was a throw out, you know, from a dwarf photo and not a, you know, a standard Netherland dwarf. So you could kind of sit there and go, that's we called them Hodo imposters.
Imposter bunny!
But yeah, so there's all those combinations with a dwarf photo with the Vienna gene. And then you have, you know, blue-eyed whites. Okay? So a blue-eyed white plus a blue-eyed white, 100% blue, no exceptions. There was no other way to get a boo. But if she's saying that it's Vienna, the dad of this rabbit is a Vienna carrier, and mom's a Vienna.
Well, she's saying that they're both Vienna carriers.
Yeah,
exactly. That
sibling.
That would have been. I'm like, okay, yeah, but where's the? Because that was my question too. It's like, okay, well, where's the blue-eyed whites? Because if you're telling me,
are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know. Can you still hear me or?
Oh, please tell me my signal didn't drop.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can. Hold on. Fuck. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Stop. No. I can hear you. I can hear you. Did I drop out? Oh, maybe I dropped out. Why are you being stupid? Speakers, microphone. It says it's picking it up. Test. 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 Why are you being so dumb?
Like a damn Verizon commercial in the early 90s.
I don't. Can you?
Or late 90s.
Can you still hear me? Because I had to exit and come back. I don't know if she can hear me. I can hear her. Fuck. Test. That thing's got it. Test. It says it's got it. Maybe did you mute me by... Ah! Fuck. I broke Discord. Okay, Well, did you mute me? I didn't think I was muted. Ah! Hello.
Hello. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Ah! Fuck me! Okay. I'm apparently stupid. I didn't do that on purpose. Dumb Mary is dumb. Call.
Thank you for calling Navient. This call may be monitored.
Oh, well, fuck you people. Oh. Wait. Wait, hold on a second. How did... Stupid phone? Stupid phone being stupid. Dumb phone being dumb. I'm doing the thing this way, it's easier.
Huh?
It's me. Can you hear me here? Because...
Hold on, let me mute, there we go. Let me mute Discord.
I mean, is Discord even picking up at this point? Because I could hear you fine.
Yeah, I know, but I can't get it to die. Hold on. There we go. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm not getting the double up.
Well, what was... Well, okay, well, if Discord is working, I'll go back to Discord, but...
It is a little bit, but it's easier to do the phone call because because the signal's more stable with phone call.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Well...
Okay,
yeah, but...
Back to what we were saying. If that rabbit was a Vienna carrier, there would have been blue-eyed whites in the litter. Now, she is saying that her Vienna carrier just threw a litter and there were no booze in it.
I don't think those are booted then. I don't think...
They have to be booted.
Yeah. They're just lightly marked. Because that was what she was saying. I'm like, what you're saying sounds like it makes sense, but it doesn't make any sense if you know anything about how this gene behaves. Because she's going, oh, this... Because she was trying to... Did you break down what she actually said in the video? Because what she actually said in the video was like, oh, well, if it's... Because she was saying, well, it's a Vienna carrier, and that's a Vienna carrier, and if it's a Vienna carrier, then it's going to look like her rabbit because it has extra white. And I'm like, but that's not how Vienna reacts typically. And if there was, and if it was doubled up, it would have been completely white with blue eyes. And then she's saying, oh, well, the mom's gray with blue eyes, and I'm like, I bet you it's gray with gray eyes. And then she was trying to say that her kits. Her kits were, this is a Vienna kit, and I'm looking at it, but that's the problem. Broken is a different Loki than Vienna. So you can have
Yeah,
both.
that's
They're
the
not
reason they can
exclusive.
carry both.
Yeah, it's not exclusive. So that still doesn't prove anything, because you have to in some way prove that it's not a broken carrier at all. And the fact that it has white spots on it.
The only way you can prove that is what I commented to her most recently on there, was that you have to see the grand dam and the grandsire.
Yeah.
Because you have to see the grand dam and the grandsire, so that way you can see whether or not that broken is carried through.
Yep.
Because if the grand dam and grandsire are broken, then you're looking at, you're carrying the ENN all the way through the line.
Yep. And that wasn't successfully determined or ruled out, and that's
No,
where
because she won't show us the rabbits. Now I did apologize to Bunny Tip 7, for snapping and stuff, because I was being a little bit of an ass. I agree about that.
But that was the thing, and that's why I told her. She's like, "Well, you were just attacking her outright." I'm like, "Well, the problem was that she came at us."
Yeah, I was real quick to correct that. Like, no, she came on our shit bitching at us about hay.
Yeah, well, she started in with demanding that, how dare you, all that's, and we're like, no, and we corrected her and said, no, that's not actually true, and then she went full in and logged onto multiple accounts, and then brought her sister-in-law in, and then she was harassing another one of, I have to go look at which I want to say Aaron, but she was harassing another breeder.
8 Bunny.
Yeah.
8 Bunny was in there.
Yeah, and 8 Bunny was in there stirring shit too. So it's like, not only was she coming in and attacking CKS, then she went after everyone else. So I'm like, no. She was in with a group of people that was just attacking people left and right, anything that she didn't agree with. And even if we try to explain to her, it's not the same here, or no, and here's the studies, she was just, and they were going full out. So this is not innocent. Yeah, not innocent at all. So, like, you guys just being mean. Like, no. We were defending ourselves, and we have a right to defend ourselves.
Exactly. And Dragon stepped in right about the time that she was, full on jackass mode.
Yep.
And we were pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Because she had come and kicked the beehive.
Yeah, well, she shouldn't have been fucking. That was her fault for doing that. And if you can't take it, and then a fucking 8 Bunny was just just stirring the shit even harder. Yeah.
She was egging shit on, and it's just like, no, just get punk out. And then Dragon comes back and says, everything you say about that combination is absolutely right. It just didn't happen here. And I'm sitting here going, okay, show me the blue-eyed whites and fine.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's all we're saying. Just fine then. If you supposedly have this, whatever information you have, then just fucking show it, get it over with, and then no one's gonna say anything, and then we're done. But and then that's what I said. Well, she doesn't have to show you anything. I'm just
fucking being a marked rabbit, then fuck it. We're good. That answered our question. You could have said days worth of bitching if you had just shown the pictures. And she comes on there and she's like, well, I told the breeder that I wasn't going to show the pictures online. And I know why the breeder's doing that.
Because she brought a broken to a fucking broken and won't admit it.
And she knows that her ass is going to get chewed for breeding a Charlie.
Yeah. And selling it without giving the warnings. And then that's the other thing. All that we did was try to say, hey, that's a higher likelihood. And that's the other thing. Megacolon is not exclusive to Charlies. So even if it's not a Charlie, very well still might have Megacolon. It's not an exclusive to that. To that. It can happen to any color.
Something where I think I've read something somewhere where Charlie was isolated to.
It's a higher. It is a higher instance, but there has been studies done since then that show that it can, because it's not, megacolon is not always genetic. Megacolon sometimes can be for other reasons also, depending on feed or inflammation or other things. But it's more common as a Charlie, but there is a chance that they can have it even if it doesn't. So you know, if it's had, you know, Charlie's in its history, if it still has that as a recessive, apparently it can still happen. You know, just like Merrill dogs are more likely to have issues with ivermec, but there's other dogs that may have that as a recessive from ways back too. So it's one of those kind of toss-ins where there's
Well, yeah, if there's
no
any kind of with
yeah.
the like with the MDR1, if there's any kind of collie in, or any kind of collie or any kind of Australian Shepherd in the background, then there is a chance, or Merriling in general. So Merrill breeds.
But it's the same way with Megacolon.
Yeah.
It's not exclusive to Charlie's, but it's more prevalent in Charlie's. So. Yep.
And see, the other thing is I'm also coming from the information with Australian Shepherds, because I bred Australian Shepherds. And the same gene that controls Charlie's is the same gene that controls the lethal, what we call lethal white. It's sort of a misnomer in dogs. It's true in horses, you know, in Overo paint. Mm-hmm. But in dogs, it's Merrill, okay? So all Merriling is basically a broken pattern on a dog, okay? It mutes the colors in various intensities. So you end up, you know, black turns to blue-gray, tan turns, or, you know, reds turn light, you know, and then certain areas get entirely whited out. When you breed a Merrill to a Merrill, you end up with what is basically the same thing as Charlie Rabbit. But in dogs, it can cause the eyes will either be very small, or they could be entirely blind, or born without eyes is another possibility. They can be deaf in one ear or both, depending on how much white is on each ear. So it's sort of, and they also have intestinal problems as well. Basically, the dog version of megacolon, and it's because of that white gene. Thickening of the skin, and like I was telling you, with the pelts and stuff, especially in ermines and white-spotted and stuff, the skin gets thicker.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, hey, Fiddly. Oh, good. You pet that blackstrap. We're currently discussing megacolon and in rabbits and rabbit genetics that are tied to issues like reasons you don't want to breed certain things. And I have to pay attention to this now because I'm now breeding brokens, so you try to be a little more careful. But, like, everything she was describing about this rabbit kind of fits, like, in here. But I think I had read somewhere, they said it's more common in Charlie's, but there is always a chance that there could be something else that, you know, can cause it, because there's genetic megacolon, and then there's, like, injury, like it had something happened. Or it could have just been a birth defect, you know, which is also a possibility. But I think in her case, due to the amount of white on that rabbit, I'm pretty sure that's a genetic megacolon issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing that's the only reason that we kept that whole thing up. That's the only reason that we kept that whole discussion up, because we were concerned about the rabbit. Because if you aren't doing the appropriate things with that rabbit from a young age, you know, I'm sorry, but a Charlie doesn't live long. You're looking at maybe 30 or 40 years. You know, they just are not suitable for life.
Well, that's what even this is saying. It's like, first, because it's so painful, they go first thing is pain prevention, and then if it has even one more, this article is saying if a rabbit has even a single case of stateness or complete smaller gut slowdown after it's already been treated once, it probably needs to go into it says prokinetics and Medican on a permanent daily basis to prevent reoccurrence. And it says it's deadly if left untreated. So she might be doing okay for now, but this is one of those things. They tend not to live nearly as long because it's such a horrible, you know.
I know, and that's where it upsets me, because she doesn't want to listen.
Well, and that's what I said. Go. It's like, has it been X-rayed? Has it been checked? Because that's a red flag. I would check for this.
Exactly. You see a rabbit that white, you're automatically going to be like, oh wow, We
Yeah.
have to
That
check
watch.
this out.
Yeah. And I'm like, and the only, like I said, the only other thing I'm like, well, maybe it's just a very lightly marked magpie, because I have a couple magpies that look similar to this, but the difference is this is a much longer coat, so you know how the magpies have that little bit of kind of almost like shading? It kind of tricks your eye into seeing it. Well, maybe it's magpie shading, but I don't think it is. I just think that coat's kind of fuzzy, and it just softens the edges. So
softens the look of it.
yeah. Like when we were talking about comparing those rabbits on the table, the ones that had the white up the tailbone versus the ones that were more solid on the back, so that the line looked better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, well, see, that was the other thing. You know, Dragon was sitting there saying, you know, normally in most cases, you know, if you have a BMDM ENN rabbit, you know, you have basically there's got to be 10% more. 10% or more color on either ears, nose, or eyes. And that's correct. That is correct.
Which is what we said. And so like this is from the Rabbit Wiki. Let me see if I can zoom in. I was wondering if that's the same. So this is how they broke it down. So that's actually a lot more color even for a Charlie, but every single one of these has dark ears, and these are English spots. So they have the dorsal stripe, black on the eyes, like black around the mouth, and dark ears. And they're saying this is a Charlie in this breed, and then their standard, you know, the show colored broken, and then your sport color solids.
Yeah.
But that's how they were described. Now I want to see if I can find. But yeah, this is also going back. It's like it is often tied into this. I don't know. It's a GI tract, pacemaker, and yeah, but it is tied into the reduced spotting.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of leaning towards. Now what I really want to understand. So, I want to know how Vienna plays into broken, and then Dutch here has a separate. So there's dark Dutch minimal spotting, white Dutch excessive spotting. Someone else was saying they thought maybe that the Dutch and the EN were actually on the same thing. I'm like, I think that's been disproven since now. And then someone else trying to say that Dutch spotting and Vienna were all on the same. But I'm like, I don't think that's the case either, because you can have instances. I'm pretty sure you can have instances of both.
They aren't, because DU is on its own.
Yeah. So. Let's see here. So what I'm curious though is I would love to see if someone has a representation. So Vienna marked, or how about a blue-eyed broken? Is that maybe?
Yeah, blue-eyed broken.
Blue-eyed broken maybe. Blue-eyed broken rabbit. Okay, here we go. So here's blue-eyed brokens. So it doesn't.
Send it to the messenger so I can see
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna. Well, it's just right now. It's just the Google. Okay, so that is what looks like a Dutch. Where's my thing? There's my thing. Come here. This is just a Google search right now until I can narrow this down. So, what hers actually kind of looks like this one. It's a blue-eyed. This one's blue-eyed broken, but no, that's actual. This is actual blue. I think you might have actually sent me one of these pictures earlier.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is a Vienna broken, a VMVM ENN rabbit.
Yeah, and this one and this pisses me off. So this one on Pinterest is actually mismarked. I hate Pinterest because I can send this to you and there's no guarantee it's going to actually show you the damn picture. But this person has this listed as a blue broken with light blue eyes, and it's like, no, those are gray eyes, because they tend to mark these like so wrong. And this is gray eyes. If anyone is paying attention to my Twitch stream. This is Blue Eyes. Because it's such...
Now, let me show you what happens. The best example of a VM, EN is going to be a broken dwarf hodo.
Okay.
And that's just it. They don't have blue eyes. Okay, so when it goes broken, when there's broken involved, it pulls away the blue eyes.
Okay.
So I'll send you several examples because these all look like my kits I had back,
I might have found it in the quiz bowl. Yeah, I love quiz bowl. Yay 4-H. Okay, hold on. Where was it? That's the Britannia Petite. Where was it? I just saw it. Okay, so here's the dwarf hodo, and I think the picture they're using for an example looks like it's a dark or gray eyes with eyeliner. Oh, that's so cute. I guess.
Here, I'll show you all these. Give me just a second. I'm trying to cut out, readers stuff because I don't want them getting. I'm trying not to get people harassed here,
Mm.
I'm borrowing your pictures just for educational purposes, just so you know. I am not trying to make anything up.
What is the breed standard?
Demonstrate color.
What's the breed standard for the dwarf hodo? Is that can they have blue eyes, or is that something that's not supposed to be?
No, it is not allowed because blue eyes is not allowed because in order to have the blue eyes, basically, it destroys the crispness of the eyeliner, and so it's not allowed in the breed standard. They had this dark black brown eye.
Oh man, there is so much going on in this. Okay, so this, not only is this have that Vienna or whatever Dutch marking, that looks like it's also got a magpie too.
It's a booted broken.
Yeah.
It's a booted broken with a Vienna jean.
It looks like it's got magpie too. It looks like it's got all but it's possible because there's so many, because that's all different. It's all different genes. So this looks to me. Oh, we're gonna go AA. No, wait, because if it's got that, there's a possibility it's gonna be. Come here, be big. That's your big.
But both of these are excellent examples of what happens with a broken hodo.
So they've
got to be VM carriers because they're parents with hodos.
CHD non-dilute.
They're going to be VM, big VM, little VM, big EN, little EN. I think, yeah. And then in your benchmarking, it's going to be DU, or if it's a booted broken, it's just a booted broken, and your EN is sufficient for the booted broken.
Okay, so if I have this, from what I'm looking at here, just because of the way this is colored, I think I'm going to show you my guess of what this actually is, because that's got all kinds, and just but it's also because they're all on different genes. They're all on a different loci.
Different loci.
Yeah, they're all different
and
loci.
What happens? Okay. Well, so here's what happens with
So I think.
Booted, yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
So what's happening here though is that you don't have the EJ. What's causing the mottled appearance that you see in a magpie?
Mm-hmm.
What's causing the mottled appearance that you would normally see in a magpie is created here by the muting of the color by both the combination of the broken spotting gene and the Vienna gene together.
Okay, so
that's what the mute of the color. So it takes it white. And so you have, some strands are black, some strands are kind of gray, because it's varying degrees of the color being muted by the combination of those two genes together.
Well, this seems to be more of a true Merrill color, because that's how Merrill tends to represent too.
Yes,
yeah,
and that's
versus,
what I was saying. The reason they're so closely related to each other, because it's very similar to combination.
Okay, so how do I express this here? So we're going to go with... Oh,
it's going to be
hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's
we
going
need
to be Vienna and broken together.
Where's my...
Is what it is. There is no harlequinization in this at all.
Okay, where's my broken by itself? Broken
And
by
they're all, and with
here.
these broken door photos, there'll be a black face. There's no such thing as a blue. So there's no dilutions or anything. So
Yeah, so
that's pretty. That makes it simpler.
Let's see here. This needs to be... No, I'm going to have to just do a new level, because it's not going to fall under that broken. I'm just going to have to do another one. So,
Yeah.
Let's try this, and then this is going to have to be... Well, to represent this particular one, we're going to leave the Dutch marking as the Dutch marking, and then we're going to find some way to represent the molted-ish color. Nah.
Now I'm going to use this to show you what happens when the Vienna and the broken together completely white the rabbit out, like I was talking about, where you end up with 10% color on, 10% or greater color on either ears, eyes, or nose. This is what happens, okay? You end up with black ears and the eyeliner. Or you end up with just the black ears by themselves, or just the nose, or just the eyes. You know, but it's never less than 10%.
Yeah, because this is just... Oh, can you... Oh my god, filter is going to take forever.
I know. But yeah, these door photos make the understanding Vienna plus broken a lot easier. Because you're seeing the interplay between the two on a pure black and white rabbit, basically. And Vienna will always mute whatever your base color is. It's going to mute over the top of whatever your base color is. So it doesn't matter what the base color is, the Vienna will try to mute that base color. It just depends on the extent. Now, if it's VMVMENN, it will mute it in this model pattern.
Okay, hopefully the scribbles will work. Scribbles is going to have to be close enough. This is going to have to be a scribbly rabbit. Scribbles. Come on, bring it in. Bring it. Oh, stop fighting me. Oh, my computer's like, no, I don't have enough RAM. You're asking me to do things and stream at the same time. So this is the Dutch bunny genetics. We're more focusing on VM bunny genetics. Now, VM marked rabbits can look Dutch, but not necessarily be Dutch. Let me see if I can find the original. My original webpage that I had up. That's a friggin' here it is. This is really cool. So, this is Vienna carrier markings, typical Vienna carrier markings. And one that looks like a Dutch rabbit is one of the typical Vienna carrier type markings. So this is not actually Dutch. I haven't got into Dutch yet. So Vienna carriers, I don't know if Shrimp, if you were following along on the TikTok drama for today, because Lord knows
we've been dealing with our share of this crap for days now.
I think we're all just it's like I don't want to
tired of it. Yeah,
I'm tired, but at the same time I don't want to let them win.
I know.
Because there comes a point where you roll over and then it's just like, well see, we know better. See, you gave up because you know you're wrong. I'm like, no, we gave up because you guys are like banging your heads against a brick wall.
Yeah, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah, and so Vienna is the one that creates the actual blue eyes.
Yes,
In order
Vienna
for
is the one that creates the blue eyes. Yeah.
Yep. And then the one I can never pronounce correctly, the Lunto, is if you create a Vienna and you mix chocolate into the lines, and they can get like the purple shade to their eyes.
That's Lutino.
Yeah.
Lutino.
It's some Spanish word.
Yep, it's Lutino.
Mhm.
Okay, so I remember I told you about breeding the broken back into the line, and then you sometimes end up with the blown out eyeliner.
Yeah.
That's what I just sent you a picture, an example of the picture of that.
What the hell is it? Oh, if it wants to load, come on. Oh yeah. Oh my God, she's got smoke going on. Look at them smoky-eyed bunnies.
Right.
She's going to a rave in like a goth club.
Mhm. So these are all these pictures I just sent you are examples of what can happen with the Vienna gene when it's when it's spread back in, when it's spread out, the extent of it. But if you notice on the rabbits that are fully whited out, so the Vienna gene is gone to the fullest extent it can, it never leaves less than 10% color.
Okay, so the one that I currently have on the screen that I'm going to export so I can get rid of this one thing. This is if you have Vienna. This was Vienna and this was a combination Vienna broken and Dutch, or just Vienna and broken.
Vienna. Okay, so the very first picture I sent you, the little dude who looks like he's broke. He looks like he's broken, but he has the Dutch markings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the marrow. Okay, that's just Vienna and broken. All that is Vienna and broken. The little dude underneath him is also Vienna and broken.
Okay, so I just need to make a note when I'm saving these pictures. So the one that I tried to make an example of, it's on my screen now. We're going to say Vienna and broken. Close enough. I'm going to get rid of this layer because it's eating all my RAM.
Yeah.
All of it. And then we're going to move on to all the different variations of the Vienna broken, the Vienna marked possible pattern. So this is the Vienna quote-unquote Dutch markings. So we're going to save this as export as
Vienna broke Dutch. Yeah,
this one just Vienna with
Vienna with broken
Dutch
booted broken basically.
Yeah. So Vienna as a Dutch marking, and then we're going to go with we're going to close down Dutch. We're going to go away. That's going to go away, and now we're going to go with the ones where it basically just has the little white snip on its face.
Mhm.
And
just right there by that little snip by its nose.
Yeah, that little minimal marking. So, and sometimes they have maybe a paw somewhere.
Maybe a paw, maybe two paws, maybe all four paws will be white, and the rest of the rabbit will be solid colored.
So we're just gonna kind of stick a little bit there. And that may or may not have the blue eyes. So we're gonna do one without and one with. So
and one with. Yep, because the blue eyes could carry through.
Vienna marked minimum 001.
You can also get an odd-eyed rabbit.
Yep.
They got one blue eye, one brown.
Okay, we're going to go Vienna marked export as...
So the whole rabbit will be solid except its eyes will be odd-eyed.
Yep.
Or
spots, because
they
could have halved eyes too, so they could have blue
yes,
and
halved
eyes.
and marbled.
Yep, can marble.
Halved and marbled.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can have a full bifurcation, and with the heterochromia iridis, you can have a full split down the middle, either horizontally or vertically. You can also have a marbling effect.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. And then what else was on here? So anyway. So there could be white on the face. There could be just a little tiny bit. So I think that kind of covers all those. There could be a little
and then you
more
have your
white.
Dutch mark. You have your incomplete Dutch.
You know, or they may be entirely looking like they're solids with just the blue eyes. So it's...
Or an odd eye, or they might just have either one little spot of blue in an eye.
Yep. But typically it's a black base color because they...
Yes. Typically it would be whatever the base color is, it's going to be the whole color of the rabbit. Black is most common. Variations of black are common because if your eyes are purple, then chocolate has been bred in, and that's a Lutino.
Yeah, and that's normally something they try to avoid. Okay, so if we go, well, I'm going to throw the Lutino on there anyway. So that's the purple one is the Latino, and we're going to go ahead and make that a chocolate bunny.
Yeah, with purple eyes. And that's a play between the red and the blue. Yeah, and it mixes together and creates a lavender tone to the eye.
Lutino.
N-O, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to call this one Lutino. Alright. And that's an example of a chocolate bait. Well, this is a lilac with purple eyes.
Yes.
Okay, and then what else? So Dutch, there's two different colors. Because the next thing here is bringing this into the other side and be like, okay, now we have to...
Well, this is enough reason that it took so damn long to get different colors in the Dutch rabbit breed because they were trying to differentiate between the Vienna gene and the Dutch gene.
Yeah.
In order to get the different colors, between chocolate Dutches and blue Dutches and, that whole mess.
Yeah. Okay, so these were the Vienna. So now we have Dutch. Let's see. Dutch Wabbit. There. No, look, you're so cute. Look at how adorable you are, you poor stupid thing. Look at him. I don't know why either, buddy. My boss stole my rabbit today.
I know, I saw that. That was cute. He's like, I'm just going to walk around with your rabbit.
Because I had her out on I was having a bad morning, so I just took her out, and she's really super sweet, and so she was on my chest, and Ross walks by, and at first he's, like, really hyper-concentrating on what he's doing, and then he's, like, stops, and he turns, like...
He's like, oh, wait, rabbit.
He's like, no, wait. And he's like, oh my god, can I pet it? And then I'm like, yeah, you can hold it. Can I hold her? Here you go. And then he's like, I'm just going to walk around with your buddy. And he just... Well, he was asking me questions like, can you litter box train it? And, can it run around in the store? I'm like...
Oh, he fell in love with the Bun Bun.
I'm like,
okay.
I have her sister at home if you really... And I might, because I'm a terrible person, I might bring the tricolor in tomorrow.
To see if he likes it.
Because I
You
really...
totally need a pet bunny, dude.
Well, his kid or what. I mean, I don't care as long as they... I mean, I'm right there to supervise if need be, but... It's like... He's like, can it run around the shop? He's like, okay, well, if it runs in here, do you want me to catch it for you? And I'm like, I'm not going to put her down in here because she's going to, like, chew the wires on the printer or something. So I'm like, no. If we had an X pen, maybe, but...
Playpen, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not risking her wandering over to the printer and, like, destroying it.
Chewing the cables apart, yeah.
$60,000 printer or some shit. So I'm like, yeah.
That she destroyed by nibbling on it.
I mean, granted, they're very cute and they look harmless, but you've seen Monty Python. It's not that far from the truth. So, vicious.
Oh man, I saw that video you sent today with the rabbit that is like, one of the most fearsome animals in the forest, and she drives by and it's a snow hare.
I was like laughing so hard. She's like, oh my god, cryptid. I'm thinking I'm going to see a cryptid. Is this another jump scare video? And it's a friggin' white bunny. And I'm like, oh my god. Like, that's adorable. Like, I'm not sure. Theirs was really cool, Dutch marked harlequins. See, those are nifty. See, that's why I know that the Dutch gene behaves different with the Harlequin than the broken gene does, because the broken gene always seems to make them that like shotgun pattern. But but the Dutch gene keeps that tight banding.
The tight band, yeah. And so, well, with the Dutch, okay, so the Dutch gene is the only gene that can go across over to chocolate and not create the purple eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to, when they were trying to create the chocolate Dutches, they had to differentiate. You know, people were like, "Oh, there can't be chocolate Dutches because of the Vienna markings and stuff like this." So they had to differentiate between two. So Vienna marking can exist without Dutch, and vice versa. So it's VU for Dutch marking, for true Dutch marking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Vienna plus broken can create something similar to Dutch. It looks very similar, but it is not Dutch.
Yes, you see, CHD is chinchilla. Just to point to, yes, that's. I'm sorry, I missed you for a second. Is this the drama related to the UK girl with the Charlie? Yeah, it is. It is. So just to keep you up to speed, Dragon came in late, and she did a video to tell us that, well, I asked her nicely because you guys are being all mean to her, and she showed me pictures of the parents, and I'm telling you, it's a Vienna marked rabbit. But the problem here, that we're kind of, just to catch you up, but the problem is that, as you can see in what we were showing earlier, Vienna markings aren't cut and dry. So when you get when there's Vienna markings involved, it can be, it could look like a lightly marked broken. So I have to probably pull that website back up. But like the example that I had was Duchess, who I did the video of earlier, and the reason that I did that is because she's not Vienna marked. So the way that this person was describing, and the same thing, like this is Dodger, and he's also he has almost identical markings where it was just that, you know, almost a Dutch pattern. And just that little white dot on his forehead. And people can, if you look at him and you don't know his background, yeah, he looks like he's probably a Dutch mark, you know, chestnut. But I know his background. I know for a fact, nope, he's not Dutch. And if someone goes, oh, well, he must be a Vienna marked rabbit, I'm like, nope, he's not Vienna marked either. He's a booted broken. Because just because this rabbit has a dot of white on her nose and some white on her paws, that does not conclusively define it as Vienna marked, just because that is the marking, because that is not exclusive to Vienna.
Then she threw in, and then she threw in.
Well, only after I asked her. Only after I asked her if the eyes were blue, which was the same thing like when Genius said the first time that, oh well, split. Well, one of the parents isn't actually split. And then we find, you know, broken, split. And then we find out later, okay, well, there is white on the mom because you lied about that. And then she didn't mention anything about there being blue eyes until I asked her. You can't tell for sure it's Vienna marked unless there's blue eyes in the background. That's the only definite way that you can confirm it's Vienna, is if there's a blue eyed in the background. Because if there's no blue eyes, there's no guarantee that that's not simply a lightly marked broken or booted broken. Okay, go have fun, Fiddly. So. And then she said it had blue eyes. Which brings that into question.
Now, if you look at the blown out eye, you know, the smutty eye dwarf photo that I sent you, you'll notice that its eyes are blue-gray.
Oh yeah,
and that's because they're broken.
And we can look. Do I have a close-up of Harvey's? I have to probably pull it, but yeah, but Harvey, you know, that's the same thing with like Harvey, is he's got they're gray eyes. Okay, so we have. Oh, people want to see intestines. Doesn't want to see rabbits. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's see. TNTHN4K Marigold. I put him up with the ABCDEFG Harvey. Okay. Do I not have a close-up of your eyes in your folder? Shame on you, Mary. I mean, that's kind of, I think that's kind of close enough. I can zoom in on that. All right.
And I keep trying to make the difference between that gray eye and a Vienna blue eye. Those are two different things.
Yeah, and like I said, that's gray. This is the same. It's that same blue color that his coat is. But
yeah, it's that steel blue
it's
gray
that
color.
very pretty steel blue gray, and that's why I have the I have examples of actual blue, because we've gotten in this discussion more than once on the rabbits group, one of the rabbit groups on Facebook, because you get new people on there that they don't know any better, and it's not we're not trying to be mean or to tell them, oh my god, you're wrong. It's just it's a simple correction so that they can learn from it about how that oh look, I have an entire PDF on the color genetics of the dwarf hoto, because I don't know, I looked this up at some point. So there you go. At some point I grabbed this because I was confused. Oh my goodness. Here it has like very long. Yeah, this is homozygotic, meaning the same, and this is heterozygous, and this is homozygous recessive. What is this? Dense colors and other blessed dense. Okay, this was actually a really good breakdown for the color genetics. I think that's why I downloaded this, is because it had a really good primer in it when I was first doing this.
I mean, basically with a dwarf hoto, you're getting the Ianian, which is the broken, or the English spot, broken gene, and then you're throwing a little bit of Dutch in there, so DU. So big D, little U, little d, little u. So there's Dutch in there as well. So that's why I'm saying where the broken and the Dutch are separate.
I mean, I can just read. I can just read through these if anyone's got questions. But this is actually really good. So first they break down broken, which is the English spot, and then they kind of describe what that is, and they go into like, okay, well that's not complicated, but let's study the Dutch. And there's 3 versions of Dutch: normal, non-Dutch. I need to adjust my marker. Dark Dutch, so DUD, and then white Dutch. So dark Dutch is more heavily marked Dutch pattern with more color, and then white Dutch is lighter marked Dutch with more white. But I would like pictures of both so I can tell these apart. Dutch will mix much like broken and solid genes do. Okay, so the 2 Dutch variations, dark Dutch and white Dutch, will mix like broken. Okay, so they I guess they can be halved, kind of like how the sables and the seals. So Dutch and broken genes work together to create the dwarf hot pattern. Broken is needed to clear off the rest of the color on the body, ears, and head that the Dutch pattern leaves behind. However, both the Dutch and broken patterns are additionally influenced by modifiers. So if you think about it, no 2 brokens really look alike. They may be more blanket or more spot. The Dutch pattern also has variances not are born with the proper pattern. Modifiers really aren't controllable, as they're likely to cause by many genes interacting. But putting the right broken Dutch combinations together, it can maximize the chance of probability for good offspring. Let's see here. Yay, pictures, my favorite. There you go. Solid with 2 Dutch darks makes a booted. A solid base with, I'm pretty sure this is how, yeah, and with the Dutch dark and Dutch white makes a decently marked Dutch. And then here we go. So there, and then you have your broken Dutch, which is similar to the pattern that we were looking at earlier. And that was the broken pattern with dark Dutch and white Dutch, or the broken pattern with white Dutch and white Dutch. And then the correctly marked one is, it looks like they want the white Dutch, so I guess the one with the most white. And they're saying this should be...
it completely cancels everything out.
So the
always cancels it out.
So for marked, it says there's 2 variations. The preferred variation is heterozygous broken with two white Dutch genes. Or you can get a Charlie broken with a dark Dutch and a white Dutch. And that'll both both of those will produce it, but it's better to have the heterozygous than the homozygous broken. I like it. Yeah. Okay, so that pictures are fun because they're very good at explaining shit. Okay, so homozygous, let's see. But they want to keep the Dutch white. It says get rid of the dark Dutch by culling animals producing booted or Dutch mishmarks. If broken Dutch are consistently popping it, it's more than likely due to the dark Dutch gene. If you keep all your marked animals heterozygous broken or or Charlie, and you want to keep all of them with the white Dutch, then you'll have a better luck at pulling a high rate of marked babies. So, okay. I love it how we've been attacked so many times today that we don't know shit. And it's like, well, you have no idea. It's not like you know anything. And I'm like, are you reading the articles? Like, have you read the fucking studies? Because I can just throw papers at you that I've apparently saved for the past year because, eye specs and the blue China eyes. Oh, look, we have this. It looks like we're going to discuss Vienna in here also. Perfect. Oh, are you not going to test Vienna? Okay, we kind of mentioned it. China eyes occurs. The blue coloration is paler than a typical blue-eyed white coloration, and neither are nor specs. Okay, hold on a second. Crossover. As you can actually. Okay, so this is a gene crossover. I'm wondering if they just didn't cover Vienna in this at all because they're just assuming it's a mutation.
It's a given. Yeah.
The reason for specks and blue eyes in the dwarf coloration comes from potential byproduct of linkage. Specifically, is caused by linkage between white Dutch and broken genes following a crossover event. Some chromosomes come in pairs, and paired chromosomes exchange data between. This data exchange called crossover. Here's a picture to illustrate. Okay, as you can see, it actually swapped bits of itself with a partner. This happened multiple times, and even when the loci are on the same chromosomes, we can usually assume they're still passed independently. So broken and Dutch loci are rarely mixed up by this process or passed on together 87% of the time. The rare occasion a crossover happens, it puts a broken and white Dutch gene into the same chromosome. That's when the speck is in blue China eyes. China eye blue coloration is paler than typical blue-eyed white, and neither it nor specs is something that cannot be avoided, but that's why it occurs. I'm somewhat questioning if there's not Vienna mixed in there, though.
There is, because they bred in blue-eyed whites.
Yeah, because this is from... So most of the sources for this one are back from, like, 1930s and 1915. So they've been studying this shit for, like, over 100 years. So yeah. Most of this is pretty darn accurate, but I don't think Vienna was talked about until a little bit later. So this is still a pretty solid paper for the basis. She wrote this. This was printed in 2011. But where did it actually come from? Well, this came from the specialty book, so. But the articles they're referencing came from a very long time ago. Okay. No, Mary, bad. Oh, thing back up.
Well, you gotta think that the Vienna gene is, they're just now sort of looking into that kind of thing. They didn't used to take that into account. They just knew that if I crossed this rabbit with this rabbit, you know.
Okay, what other PDFs? What else did I download? Pretty much everything else is RHVD related, it looks like. So that was my one big genetics article that I grabbed. Yeah, that makes me sad.
Well, see, what happened was because the dwarf Hodo is a bred down version of the Blanc de Hodo.
Yep.
Okay? So they had to bring that size down somehow. Now, they took the smallest Blanc de Hodos that they had and crossed them with Netherland dwarfs.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to keep the color stable, they bred in blue-eyed whites. And so that's where the Vienna comes in with the dwarf photos.
Yeah, so that's probably... So it's probably because Vienna's a complicated gene. There's like no question about it.
It is. It's terrible.
It's very complicated.
It's just as bad as these, pearl shades and smoke shades. Because like Dragon was saying, I agree with her. Vienna can do some pretty wacky stuff when it comes to coloring.
Yeah.
I mean, it can white a rabbit out. It can, it is essentially a white-out gene.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is going to, cover color. And it covers color weird sometimes.
But every bit of evidence in this appears to still point towards there's broken involved.
Yes. And that's why I keep telling her, I think Mom is ENEN.
Mm-hmm.
Mom's got to be ENEN. Because the ears would not have been whited out so bad.
Or Dad, because I think what she said that the father was white-eared. And that's a whole other gene in itself. Apparently they're trying to breed for white ears now.
And that's the fit. Charlie, because she said he had white around his nose.
Yeah.
And he had white ears, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, he's Charlie. He's not a severe Charlie, but he's Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
And if you breed a Charlie with a broken, an ENE and doe, you're going to end up with a 50% Charlie litter.
Yay, white ear gene. And he's got white on the nose, and otherwise he's booted with white ears.
He's thinking cute, though.
They are. But, okay, this is a question. Is white ear... Because people were asking about this, too. Is white ear dominant like English spot is dominant? But it behaves like Dutch? And so some of this interesting question. White ear is dominant she says white ear is dominant like English spot, but it behaves like Dutch in case of not causing megacolon, and how it influences color distribution in a tricolor. And then so I don't know.
Now white ear by itself, no, that's not a problem. Let's go back up to the picture of the bun.
I think I can go back. Where was it? This one. Yeah.
The cute little loppy bun with the white ears. Very good.
Billy ear.
Now look at his nose. What color is it?
It's a white nose.
Yeah, it's a white nose. It's white ears. But what's going on with his eyes?
I can't really tell, but I think they're brown. Okay, I'm gonna look at this. So apparently this is the white. Let me see if I can pick up other pictures of this supposed new breed, because it says it's a new breed, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see if we can get a. That's the same one.
You want to see eyes, ears, and nose.
Again, that's not really clear enough.
So what are they trying to do? A white ear lop?
This is a white-eared, effectively a white-eared lop. So the white ears Belier, I guess. That's got to be a German name for a mini lop, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
that's good.
Okay. That was the other thing. I had a fight with him.
I saw.
Mini lop versus hollow lop, and I was like, you do realize that the British Rabbit Council.
Yeah.
Yeah, British Rabbit Council and the ARBA, our lops overlap, but they have different names for them over there. So what we consider a mini lop here is actually a German lop over there.
Mm-hmm.
And what we consider a Holland lop, y'all call a miniature lop. And then you have another even smaller lop, which is a 3-pound lop, and that is the dwarf lop.
Mm-hmm. They pick fights without doing any without looking before they start screaming.
And I'm sitting there trying to list out these, and and I'm like, okay, a lot of these overlap. They just have different names here.
Why are you just listing out rabbit breeds? I know all of the rabbit breeds. Like, oh my fucking god. Shut up.
Okay.
These all appear to have dark eyes, but that doesn't mean it's not Vienna, but, you know.
Yeah.
So, apparently what white ear is considered a... It looks like Dutch with white ears, honestly. I know someone's trying to breed white-eared...
It's a Dutch with white ears.
Yeah, white-eared Flemish.
You're never going to see the combination of the three, unless it's Charlie. And that's the point that I'm getting at. A Charlie will have less than 10% color. Its ears will be white. Its eyes will be white. Its nose will be white. Sometimes it can be a combination, but a severe Charlie will always be very lightly marked because it just sucks up all the color and covers it all.
Mm-hmm. I think that's actually where was it? I just saw it was a tort. It was a black tort, white-eared with Dutch markings.
With Dutch markings.
Yeah.
And see, that's okay. That's not a Charlie
Mm-hmm.
because you're keeping color to avoid that. That's a Dutch face, not
I love
Shutterstock.
Shutterstock's awesome.
I know.
Hold on. Let it. There you go.
Oh, look at the fatty.
They're making little bunnies. Making more bunnies.
Oh, having him a good time.
Oh my god. Alright, let's see here. Anything else that...
My sister was just talking about how when Buck fell off, she still giggles to this day thinking about it.
Okay, so this one is blue-eyed with a little bit of color. As you can see just right behind the eye, that appears to be a cream patch.
Yeah.
So that is probably a broken Vienna.
That's a broken Vienna.
So similar to hers, it's extreme broken, but this one actually has the blue eyes coming through.
Yeah.
It might that, or it's a cream Dutch marked broken, because if you
and
look,
she's
there's
trying
some
to
here.
sit there and say, okay, so Bunny Tip 7 is trying to say that her rabbit's eyes are brown. You know, and that they were born, and she was born with blue eyes, like Vienna blue eyes.
No,
and
that doesn't.
No, that's not what happens. They don't just change.
Okay, so this is a cream. This is a Dutch marked cream broken with blue eyes. Heavily Dutch marked white cream. Well, if it's that color, isn't that a brown base?
Yeah.
So it's
That
lucky
was a
it
brown
has.
base.
It's lucky it's got eyes that blue, because that's like a. That's interesting.
I mean, it whited out it was able to white out the melanin in the eyes to create the blue color.
Unless it's supposed to be, unless it's a fawn, a very light fawn. Here's another similar to that too. Yeah, unless it's just a very light, it's a red, so it's a fawn, and maybe it's not chocolate. Might be black based red.
Color on the ears and eyes.
Yeah.
So there's a few. I think there's a few mixed up in there that aren't, true white ears.
Well, no. This is Google, so Google just actually I'm on Shutterstock now. So it's just.
It's a mixed bag.
Yeah, it's more of a mixed bag, because it's not like even this one, I think that's actually that's a tricolor, because it's got the spots on the ears.
Yeah. Oh, it's a guinea pig.
Book. Oh, it's so fat. Okay, that's that same rabbit again. That's that light marked blue-eyed. Looks like a little white hippo.
It's so round.
It's chunky. So this is that ice blue. So this is probably actually technically red-eyed white. because that's that. Or well, what was it they were saying? We were reading earlier on the Houghton genetics thing. Is they were saying that you can get sometimes they were thinking that the broken and the Dutch would sometimes produce an almost completely white, and then they'd claim to have like this ice blue, because that's the
The China blue